It's the Lauri J. Goldstein Show with Lauri J. Goldstein from a law firm of Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates in Stewart. Featuring local realtor Diane Chandler from Trade Winds Realty. And now, here's Lauri J. Goldstein, attorney at law. Well, good morning and welcome to the Lauri J. Goldstein Show on this Tuesday, the 25th of August. It's, I tell you what, we're just so happy to have Lauri in studio here today. Lauri, welcome to the program. Of course, it is your program. It's all about you.
Not really, but thank you.
And that's why we just enjoy it when you're able to be joining us here because, well, you're always working hard for the injured, and that's the one thing that we know that has been the hallmark of your career for so many years. But I tell you what, you've had a fantastic opportunity of not only doing outstanding cases for your clients, but also doing wonderful work within the community. And
wow. What an introduction. Thank you so much, Barry. You know, Barry, you're amazing too, and we're so honored. I'm so excited we have Vicki here. It's like so exciting to have her here finally.
Yes, Vicki Davis is here with us, the supervisor of elections for Martin County. Vicki, welcome to the program.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you and Lauri.
You know, we work together very well, I think, because, you know, over the years, with all of the various elections that have been taking place, and by the way, there's an election today going on.
Wow. That's right.
In Stewart. Oh. It's sort of like, it's under the radar for some reason, but
we do have an election that's taking place for City of Stewart residents, voters, 4 precincts, and it's one race that's on the ballot for City Commission.
Yes, and so that's going to happen.
Who's running?
We have, let's see, Jeff Kroskoff.
Jeff Kroskoff, and, you know, Jeff has been in office for many years. And Christina De La Vega,
yes,
a local artist who is a city resident, also running on the ballot.
Exactly, and I think that Kelly Layton was up for re-election, but she's running unopposed, correct?
Correct. Her race has been decided. She went unopposed, so she's back in for another 2 years. You know, city commissioners are up every 2 years, so...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yes, so they fall on our ballot every even year when we have elections, but then on those odd years, it's a standalone ballot. So when you go to the polls, if you live within the city, you're only going to have one race on that ballot.
Well, that should make it pretty easy.
Makes it easy, in and out.
As Tom Teeter would have said, you done good, kid. There you go.
Yes, he said that quite often.
That's right. I tell you, as I said, we got down in talking about the elections, and that was one of the things that Lauri is always promoting on the billboard. They always say, can we get on Lauri's billboard? Lauri, you know, they always think that's your billboard.
It's such an honor and a privilege to vote. I mean, in so many other countries and in the world, you don't have the opportunity to do that. So that's the beauty of our system today, is to have your honor and your privilege to vote, that get out there and vote. You know, this is your word, so it's wonderful. And Vicki, you do such a good job of, you know, promoting that for the citizens here. It's imperative that they get out there and just, you know, vote, and this is, you know, our free privilege that we have.
It is. And Lauri's been so wonderful to allow us to use her billboard space for voting information, and it allows us to get that information out to voters when books are going to be closing, because, you know, according to Florida law, books close 29 days prior to each and every election. So it's really important for voters to know they have to be registered at that point, and for primaries, especially because we're a closed primary state. So a voter needs to be registered with the party with whom they want to cast their votes 29 days prior to those primary elections. So it's really important. So thank you. Thank you, Lauri.
Thank you.
And I'm telling you, right now, with all of the publicity that's going on with the election coming up in 2016, are you finding that there's more people that are calling your office and asking you to, you know, what do I have to do to vote and that sort of thing?
Well, not so much right now. Right now, it's still the typical voter making a move within the county, having to update their driver's license, so they update their address, fortunately, at driver's license, or coming in from out of state and registering to vote. So it's your typical, normal, everyday type of transactions taking place. But as we get closer, because we're not really that far away from our first major election next year, by the month of January, end of January, we will have already mailed ballots to our military and overseas voters for the presidential preference primary on March 15th.
That's right. So we kind of moved that back. It was, I think, the last one that we had, wasn't that in January? Or
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
I think we learned our lesson on that one.
Yes, I think so too. And then statute had it set for March the 1st, and that was really the first order of business when they went into session in March this year. They changed the date to March the 15th for the presidential preference primary.
Well, it really is imperative, though, that when you do have changes in your name, like I just this earlier this month, my daughter got married.
Yes.
Her name has changed.
That's right.
Thank you. Her name has changed from Marsh to Vesky.
Yes.
So now she's going to have to come in and change all of her information on that, right?
Update everything. That's right.
Right. So those are important things to remember. And again, you can't do that too early, can you?
Oh no. If a change takes place, our recommendation is go ahead and update that information, because it's not so much that it's for our sake, it's for the voters' sake. Because when they go to cast a vote on election day or vote early, it can detain them, it can hold them up from getting in and out of the precinct.
Right. Now, one of the other questions that I was going to ask you, Vicki, was about there's a lot of people who have graduated from high school here, and they're going to college in other counties.
Lauri's son won.
What would we what do we do then? I know a lot of they're registered to vote. They're 18 years old.
Sure.
Boom. What do they do then?
What our students who are away at college need to do? They can stay registered at their home address here in Martin County, but request a vote by mail ballot, and we will mail those ballots up to them.
That's great to know.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's good.
And the sooner the better as well. I mean, we receive requests online every day at martinvotes.com for vote by mail ballots to be mailed for all 3 elections that are upcoming this next year.
Wow. And what are those 3 elections? Can you tell us?
Well, there is the presidential preference primary on March the 15th, the primary in August, which will not include the presidential primary because that's in March.
Right.
And then we move on down to November, and we have our general election. So it's going to be a jam-packed year with a lot of commercials, a lot of TV, radio, but the main thing, like Lauri was saying earlier, is exercise your right to vote. Let your voice be heard. We saw in 2000 that one vote made a difference. There was a 576 vote difference. So every single vote counts. It doesn't matter what election.
Right, and even in the county, when they had their push for that extra tax,
1 cent sales tax.
That 1
yes.
cent, what was it? About 80 votes?
Yes. Well, actually, when we conducted the recount, it came down to about 67 vote difference.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it is.
Every single vote counts.
So it really, if you ever think my vote doesn't count, get that out of your mind, because
exactly.
it really does. Well, that's good. Well, the other thought that I'm thinking about is that you're not only involved in the things that go on with the election process here in Martin County, but you, like Lauri, are also involved in community projects.
Yes.
And it wasn't that long ago that you and I and Lauri were together at the Kane Center, and we were involved with youth in government.
Youth in government, and then also Lauri and I were at Taste in Hope Sound for helping people succeed.
Yes.
So yes, Lauri's very involved in the community, and it shows.
Yes.
It shows in her billboards. It shows in her presence in the community, and then in her work that she does. So.
Absolutely. How is youth in government working? And I know this year's a new school year.
It's a new school year, so I'm sure that it's being kicked off in great fashion out on campus, and we'll be hearing from those students as they acclimate into school this year and become grounded, and they're off and running. They're sharp kids.
I know that a lot of the leadership that you had in youth in government has now gone on to college.
Exactly.
You know, but you know, I saw that you had a pretty good background of some of the younger, the
yes.
freshmen, the sophomores.
Yep.
You know, that sort of thing. They're coming up. They're stepping
rising up in the ranks. That's right.
That's good.
They're stepping up. They're filling big shoes, but they can well do that. So.
And there's more coming up for you. You're also involved in our Martin County Salvation Army.
I am. I'm on the Women's Auxiliary for Salvation Army. The real hook for me with the Women's Auxiliary was the fact that the auxiliary raises money to help offset the cost for Compassion House, which is a program for our local Salvation Army. Compassion House is a transitional home for homeless women and homeless children. So that was the real draw for me. I know we all know Salvation Army. When I think of Salvation Army, I think of the bell ringers every Christmas,
Yes.
every Christmas holiday out
Sure.
at the malls and Walmart, wherever they are. But Compassion House really tugged at my heartstrings to become involved and help them with their fundraising efforts.
Well, that's good. And I think that you've got another project with Salvation Army that's coming up, and that'll be in
do.
November. That's the luncheon that's going to be taking place.
It is. It's November the 2nd at Willoughby Golf Club. And we have asked Diane Pattison to come and be the guest speaker. She is a Harvard grad. She's has her MBA from Harvard, and she was a COO of 2 Fortune 500 companies that dealt in the area of real estate, realtors. But they're global, worldwide.
Wow.
And she is on the National Advisory Board for the Salvation Army. So that's how we really identified her. I just went out online to see, who we might be able to bring in that would really be attractive and be able to really share at a professional level. Not that we don't have local professionals that can
Right.
share, but she's also an author. She's written the book Work, Love, Pray, and it's about how to balance your life as a professional, in all 3 areas of life. So
That's
it will
something
be
that
interesting.
that's something that Lori can relate to.
Yes,
Yeah.
we all
Especially after
can.
the few
Yes.
months.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. But the Wings of Hope Luncheon is what it's called.
It is
And-
Wings of Hope.
And we'll talk a little bit more about that and see how we can get tickets and that sort of thing.
Right.
And we'll also come back. Lori's been very, very busy in her practice of helping, working hard for the injured, that sort of thing. We'll have a lot to talk with Lauri Goldstein about. So keep it right here on the Lauri J. Goldstein Show. It's Tuesday, and we're on WSTU. Thank you for joining us. Have a legal question? Talk to Lauri for free. 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU. All right, we're back with the Lauri J. Goldstein Show on this Tuesday here on WSTU. Glad to have you along, and glad to have Lauri Goldstein here with us today. Lauri, it's always a pleasure to have you in studio, and we have a very special guest, Vicki Davis, the superintendent or the supervisor of elections for Martin County. And I know you have some questions on your mind, Lauri.
I was, first of all, I am so excited about that Work, Love, Pray, the luncheon. And it's such an amazing, the Salvation Army is dear to my heart, love it, and I hope everybody goes out and supports it. So we're going to get all the information later on so everybody, including the viewers, can go out, get some tickets, and we can pack the house with seeing Diane Pattison to really, really, I can't wait to buy that book. I'm going to go on Amazon and get that after I leave here today. I'm addicted to Amazon. It's so easy. Everything's easy.
And she'll be bringing books with her.
Oh, good. That's good. That's wonderful. But I was wondering, I've just always wondered, how did you get involved, if I could ask?
Sure.
How did you get involved as the supervisor of elections? How did that position come to you?
It's really interesting that you would ask that. I was a school board member, as you know, for 8 years. And as I was on school board, it's an elected position, of course, so you deal with the supervisor of elections office.
Right.
And I knew our former supervisor, Peggy Robbins. She was in the position for 27 years. God bless her. Yeah. And
amazing woman.
Yes. When I was a school board member, I just made the decision internally and discussed it with my family that when Peggy decided to resign, that I was going to put my name in the hat to run for the position. There was just something about it that pulled me to it. It just attracted me. And I discussed it with my husband, our 2 daughters, and for years they knew, that was my goal, my desire. And the day that Peggy announced, she announced on a Friday that she was not going to run again. She was going to retire. I went home and I said, what do you think? Peggy's announced she's going to retire. And I was in the middle of a school board term, so I knew I would have to resign to run for the position. And my husband and both the girls said, Mom, this is what you've said for years you wanted to do, so go for it.
Wow.
So I filed my paperwork on Monday and never looked back.
What year was that?
That was in 2004. Wow. Yes. Amazing. So I've been in the position for almost 11 years, up for re-election next year because all constitutionals are up every presidential year. But I know I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
And that's what's so fulfilling about it.
Is there one memory per se that you can share with us in the audience? Is there something that stands out that's happened to you in the 11 years that you've been through? That's like a funny story or something that you want to share with us?
Well, I think that the really standouts for me goes back to the kids. And getting the kids involved in the process. And I tell my staff, my chief deputy, Debbie, and I talk about it every so often. We really feel that we're in the positions that we're in to groom the kids and to plant the seed within those students, those young people, whether it's being an intern in our office. I love it when students come in and they're all excited. Their parents are all excited. This is Johnny's first time to ever vote,
Yes.
And to be able to get a snapshot with the student to memorialize the first time that they actually went out and cast a vote. And being on school campuses is really, really important. And I don't know, I guess it's from school board right on in. I know my first order of business when I came into the supervisor of elections role was I know it's a bittersweet, but to move our precincts off of school campuses, even though it's such a learning process for our students. On the other hand, it had become a security issue to have so many different strangers on campus.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. So originally it was on the school campus, and you moved it to this. Wow, when was that moved?
We came off of school campuses in 2005 for the 2006 elections.
That was smart.
Yeah, so You know, we're very grateful to those facilities that allow us to come in, because it was a transition, I think, at that point. I know Martin County High School was one of the schools. Seawind, I think, was a
Oh,
school.
yes. I think it wasn't Crystal Lake, I think.
Crystal
one of them?
Lake,
Yeah.
Hidden Oaks.
Yes.
But it was really one of my first orders of business, because I saw
Brilliant.
the risk
Brilliant.
that it created on campuses, and it had been a direction of the board. So I was
Wow.
able to accomplish that.
You know, we've had a special session, and is that special session
Oh, we've
still?
had two special sessions.
Yeah, and that definitely looms large in my mind for your
Yes.
position as the supervisor of elections here. They're changing the maps.
They are.
How is
How does
that?
that work?
Yeah.
What
Well,
is that?
fortunately, the first phase of changes will not affect us, because they are keeping District 18, Congressional District 18, intact. So Martin County will just be under the one congressional district, which
That's
which
the
is
one that
awesome.
Patrick Murphy is.
Yes,
okay.
correct. It's when we get to the Senate changes that are going to be coming up in October that we may have some.
And he's running
Some
for the
effect.
Senate.
Senate, right?
Yeah, well, no, he's not up this time, but Denise Grimsley is, who represents
geez.
the western part of Martin County.
Oh, wow.
So we don't know what changes are going to take place.
Oh.
And why is that? Why do they decide to? I mean, is there a vote on that? How does that? I mean, not the,
No, actually, the maps were drawn during session.
I see.
They were challenged in the courts through different advocacy groups, and the courts sided with those advocates.
Challenges.
Yes, those challenges.
challenges.
Long live the lawyers.
There you go. Yes.
Sorry.
That's all right, though. That's
So
all
it
right.
went back into the courts, and the courts agreed. Yes,
Must have been a reason.
yes, they needed to be changed, and so they went into special session and made changes. It didn't satisfy the advocacy group, so it went back in
Again,
and
is it out now?
well, it will probably be going back. You know.
Yeah. You'll see.
Probably
You'll
will.
see more
What
on
happens
that.
in the
Yeah.
interim, though?
Yeah.
I just wonder what happens when the changes are.
Well,
is it resort to the original?
Right now it
Uh,
is. We
let's see.
received a memo direction from the Division of Elections, Secretary of State, saying, whoever's running for Congress right
Wow.
now, they're under the rules, so to speak, of redistricting, so they can collect petitions from any county in
Oh,
the,
wow.
in the
That makes
state
sense.
to qualify.
So that kind of opens it up for those who say, okay, I need my
Sure.
my petition signed so that I don't have to pay the required fee,
Exactly.
right.
and you can get it from anywhere.
From any, yes,
It's time to run.
any county within the state.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow, that
Well,
opens the door to.
It really does to a lot
That's
of.
confusing.
Yeah, it
Well,
really is.
Well, it's confusing for the incumbents too, because
Sure.
they're in limbo. You
Sure.
know, they don't
Sure.
know, especially a certain few are really in limbo because they don't know if their district is going to remain their district.
Exactly.
When will they know this? I mean, will it be right before the election, or how does it normally?
Most likely it will.
Wow.
The courts are moving quickly, the Florida Supreme Court, because they realize that we're on a time frame, especially for Congress.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
And then you, as the supervisor of elections, and I have to multiply that by what, 66 times? Because isn't there
Yes.
67?
You're
There's
correct.
67 counties. So now it's incumbent on you to get all of the paperwork done for all the ballots that you have to get
Right.
ready and all of that.
Well, if the courts decide, or when they go back in for the Senate, when they go back into session for the Senate redrawing of the maps, if we have some changes that affect us, then we have to redraw our maps and, look
Wow.
at our precincts and that type of thing. So then it affects our ballot, and our ballot quantities. So.
Is that only happening with this county, or I'm sure
Oh,
they're
it's statewide.
statewide? Okay.
Statewide.
Wow, the courts are busy.
Courts are very busy.
There's
Courts
a
are
lot
very
going on.
busy. Elections keep the courts busy.
Exactly. And that's mostly, that was the wasn't that the state Supreme Court that was?
It was, the
yeah,
Florida
that was
Supreme Court,
yeah,
yes.
that was involved in
Yes,
that.
it started out at the circuit level in Tallahassee and then made its way on up to the Supreme Court level.
Yeah, and they say that they may get out their pencils and start making the maps.
Well,
so.
that's the buzz that's being discussed right now, whether or not the courts themselves should go ahead and make the final decision on how the congressional maps should be laid out.
Yes. Well, that's to be decided here in just a little bit.
Yes, to be continued.
To be continued. So you're looking forward to getting some great people at the event coming up.
Salvation Army Wings of Hope.
Wings of Hope luncheon.
And I'm chairing the committee with our clerk of courts, Carolyn Timmons. So she and I are both
super.
Yes,
Yeah.
both working on it together.
And
Yes.
do you have a website?
Right. Where do people donate? And do you have a?
I don't know the website address right off, but
We can get it for our next radio show, and we can publicize
absolutely
it for the website.
But
Our
if you
website?
just Google Martin County Salvation
And our
Army,
billboard, Barry, right?
Yes,
they're
absolutely.
going to
We'll
have it
have
on
that
the-
on the billboard,
Everybody will
definitely.
be able to purchase tickets and okay.
It's salvationarmyflorida.org slash,
Backwards.
Martin County.
//
Yeah. And
Backslash.
and that's the best way to get in touch. That's how I found information about the Wings of Hope luncheon coming up on November 2nd.
It's a Monday.
It's a Willoughby Golf Club.
Yes.
And are you looking for like sponsors and things like that?
We
or-
are. We're looking for sponsorship, and any donation helps, of course, because the funds go towards Compassion House, which is the transitional home for homeless women, homeless children.
Do you have is it situated to where you can buy tables, or do you buy
Yes.
individual tickets, or how does that work?
Both. You can purchase a table. Tickets are $100. So if you wanted to purchase a table, it's $1,000, 10 tabletops.
Right.
And if you just want an individual ticket and you want to up it a little bit, you can be an angel sponsor for $125. So
that's great.
Yes. So that helps one particular child within
yeah.
the community.
And we need a lot of angels.
We do. We need a lot of
Lots.
angels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, but Lauri is one of our angels because
Oh, thank you,
there will
Kim.
be a
Thank you so much, Vicki.
billboard. She's donated billboard space, and we're having that billboard laid out now, designed.
Yes.
And I will put in a plug for Melissa from Gemini. She's donating her
Perfect.
talent,
She's
her
great,
skills.
Melissa.
She's wonderful. To
She just had a
to
baby.
Design. She did.
Yeah.
She did. A little guy.
Yeah.
Yep. So Lincoln.
Yes. And
Lincoln.
he's he's
Strong
something else.
name, isn't
I
that?
love that.
And
name.
he looks like he's going to be a football player too. By the way, he's a pretty
wouldn't
strong
surprise
dude.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's good. Yeah. The Gemini Design does a great job, and so that's super. So we'll look forward to that. So November 2nd, circle your calendar. It's a Monday.
Yes.
When the silent auction opens at 10:30 a.m. and the luncheon speaker starts at 11:30, right?
Yes,
The Willoughby
that's
Golf.
correct.
Perfect.
Yes.
We'll publicize this, and Barry, we've got to buy a table, so
Yeah.
that's going to be awesome.
Absolutely.
We're excited about that.
We'll mark you down for
Yeah,
a table.
perfect.
And Diane, the author or the speaker, as I mentioned before, also author of the book Work, Love, Pray. She's flying in from Dallas the night before, and
Great.
yes, she and her family live out there. So
Well,
it's
that'll be a fantastic opportunity for you to meet somebody who is a world famous authoress,
Yes.
I guess is the way
Yes.
to pronounce that, and learn a little bit more about how to get involved in work, love, and praying.
right. And the thing I really like about Diane is she comes from very humble beginnings. Her family owned farms in Oregon, the state of Oregon. So she grew up, and she shares in her book that at the age of 5 she was helping the family, with the farms. And but what I also like about her is she talks about work being a profession and really being a calling, that it is something that we really need to factor into our balance of life, because we can't just say as women, oh, I should, it's wonderful for moms to be home and to have that, but if you are called to be in a certain profession, go for it.
Absolutely.
And then balance it out.
That's for sure, and that's what Lauri's done. Lauri
Yes.
is just an amazing
A lot of women.
woman to
Thank
me, to where she's been able to balance everything, and I just love the way she, makes sure that the family is taken care of, and
Right.
that her
Barry.
responsibilities as mother of those.
That's number one. But it's not only me. I appreciate that it's all women out there,
Yeah.
including Vicky and all of us, and just it's our children and our family is first. I mean, and that's what it's all about.
Yes.
And it is important, the power of prayer. I mean, it really is.
Yes.
Whatever religion you may be, or whatever
Right.
it is so important to take each day. Each day I wake up in the morning. I know this is super crazy, and I lost my parents 25 years ago to cancer. My dad had lung cancer. My mom had bone cancer. And I thank God every day. I thank God I'm alive. He gives me another day. It's a beautiful day. I'm here with my children, my husband, my work. I'm just so grateful. I
Yes.
mean, every day. I know it sounds crazy.
No.
I say
It's-
that, but I really give thanks. And it is important to all these charities, all these events. And you have, ups and downs in your life. But the most important thing that you have to be thankful for is also your health, your health, and to be so we're and enjoying the friendships of people that you meet, and we're so excited about, Diane coming here, and it's going to be a great event. We're really excited.
It's the attitude of gratitude.
That's
and
right.
Yes.
I'd really like to,
Love that
see,
attitude of gratitude.
see a
What
lot
great-
more of that happening.
Barry with the best lines. You do. It's awesome.
It's that marketing in me. What can I say? All right. Well, we're going to take a break. Thank you so much for being. I know that you're kind of busy at this point of time, Vicki. We've just really loved having you on the show here today, and I know that you were. Especially on the mind of Lauri J. Goldstein. She wanted to
Thank
make
you,
sure
Lauri.
that you were.
Thank you.
She
You're
says
welcome.
we've got to get
Gotta
Vicki
get her
on.
here. I gotta
get
find out
Vicki.
about the election.
Yeah,
It's really
exactly.
interesting.
So definitely, you've made our day, Vicki. Thank
Well,
you.
you've made my day. I always appreciate your generosity. Lauri is so generous, and Barry, you always help us with elections in so many different ways, and in the community, both of you, and I appreciate all that you do and all of your support.
Well, I can tell you that Lauri and I share a love for this community like nobody
do.
else.
Yes, it's
And,
true. It's
you know,
evident.
We
It's a great
raised our
community.
family here.
It's a great
and,
community.
It's great.
It's
yeah.
the best.
Well, listen, all the best in this upcoming
Thank
year. I know you're
Get
going.
sleep and rest.
Oh yeah.
One piece of the elephant at a time. That's
Oh,
the way I have
like
to look
that.
at it.
I like that. And of course, also the donkey. You got the elephant and
Oh,
the donkey.
well, yes, that was
Right.
not a good analogy. You think of that one big elephant in the
Yeah.
room, but you only want to.
Yes, or the gorilla in
Or
the
the
room
gorilla.
too.
That's
there you
better.
go.
That's
the
better.
gorilla.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
the gorilla.
neutral.
Exactly. There you go.
Yes.
Well, Vicki Davis, thank you so much for being here, and we'll look forward to being
Wings of Hope,
yeah,
15th annual
being
luncheon.
there for that luncheon. That's
Yes.
going to be
Yeah.
great.
Thank
All
you.
right. It's the Lauri J. Goldstein Show here on a Tuesday on WSTU. We thank you so much for listening, and we'll be right back with more with Lauri J. Goldstein here right after this break. Have a legal question? Talk to Lauri for free. 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU.
Here, Barry.
Oh, yeah, we're back. And here we are on the Lauri J. Goldstein Show on this Tuesday. I tell you, Lauri, what a great guest that Vicki Davis is. And
Sit next to you, Barry.
Yeah, come on over.
I'll be close.
Come on over. I think we may have Diane head over to the studios here in just a little bit. Diane Chandler with the folks at Tradewind Realty, Real Estate, and but we want to talk a little bit about your wonderful company called Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates. You know, last week we had.
I know I got to catch up. I
Oh
haven't been
yeah,
here in a while. I'm sorry.
We had a
Moving my
lot.
son out to college.
Yes.
Project graduation. It's just so many things. Office, just crazy stuff going on, and I miss everybody here, and I miss talking to you. But my staff has been here, and they've been speaking to you. But now we got to catch up with everything. And I even heard my dog was here.
Yes, your dog was here. Yeah,
My little dog was here. My beautiful little Luke. Can you believe I got an Australian Shepherd?
and that is a beautiful dog.
Isn't he beautiful? I mean, I grew up with big dogs my whole life, and I finally talked my husband into it. I said, look, our son's moving to college. I'm depressed. I've gone through 3 boxes of Kleenex tissues. There's all
Yes.
moms and dads, and, the anxiety of, how did your little boy or girl, now they're gone?
Yes.
And now nobody's in the house? I don't know how you dealt with it, Barry.
it's tough.
And I have my daughter. Thank goodness we have our daughter. I'm an older mommy. I had her at almost 41. But now I said, wow, we've got to get a dog. So what do? I shipped a dog from Utah, an Australian Shepherd, and he's so sweet. But
He
now,
is.
but now I'm cleaning up pee and poo. I'm training the dog. I'm like, what? I went from nonstop. It's nonstop work. But he's so cute. He's worth it. There's nothing like a dog. I'm such a, I'm a animal rights lover.
Yes,
Because
I know that.
when I lived in D.C., after college, I moved to D.C. And I actually worked for the World Wildlife Fund and Conservation Foundation, and I worked in Washington.
Oh, wow.
So I worked a little bit with politics and a little bit with the environment. I actually worked, and I met Bush Senior, and there's a lot
Herbert
of
Walker Bush.
That's
ah.
right. I did. He was
Herbert Walker
amazing.
Bush.
He was
Yeah.
awesome, and I worked for Russell Train, who was the former EPA director in
Yes.
Washington, and he was an amazing man, Russell Train, and I had that experience. So as I listened to Vicki talk about the youngsters, the high school students coming in and looking at the election process, getting a glimpse of the election process and the political process is so fabulous for them. Because when I lived in Washington, D.C. for a couple of years and worked as a paralegal and worked for the world, I had a couple of jobs before I decided to go to law school. I worked in the political process, and it was amazing. It was fabulous living in D.C. and Washington. Actually, my son got into GW, but decided not to go there, and I'm actually glad.
Yeah.
Because the 4-hour drive to Gainesville is much easier.
Much easier.
Than
They go to
going
Washington, D.C.
But
Yeah.
but it was an amazing experience going there and seeing the political process happen.
Oh, yeah. It's like a different world, isn't
Totally different world, and it broadens your horizons, and that's why it's so fabulous to hear Vicki talk about the high school students that are going in and looking at the election process, because a lot of people like you and I, we don't even know what's
Right.
being voted on now. I can't even believe it.
Hey,
you know?
listen, this Stewart election that is happening
Crazy,
today,
crazy.
we didn't even know what was going on. I mean, it's really been kind of under the radar. Of course, it's only one race, but, all elections are important.
Well, it's hard to. The one thing my father, may he rest in peace, said, it's hard to talk politics and religion. You've got to gently tread on those subjects, because everybody has their own interpretation, their own opinions. But the election process is very important, and it really is, and your voice needs to be heard. And it is important for you to exercise your right, your voice to vote.
Absolutely.
And
that's what we've noticed on your billboards. When we've gotten into those situations of whether it's time to register to vote, like Vicki was saying, you have
Right.
those billboards up, and it really does help people understand. Hey, I've got to get involved in this process, and this is good. And now with the election looming large in 2016. That's going to be on a lot of people's minds.
I
There's
know,
no question
especially with
about
all the applicants. I mean, Donald Trump, and you've got all the. I mean, you've got. It's amazing. There's an abundance of people and lots
everybody
going
and their
on,
brothers were running for
That's
president.
right,
for crying out
everybody.
loud. But anyway, you've been just really working hard for the injured here in our community for such a long time, and a community partner that cares. That's what Lauri J. Goldstein's mottos are all about. And a lot of people don't realize how much you are involved in a lot of different things in our community. And just yesterday, you and Diamond Liddy, who's the public defender for this district, you got together. You're working out details on another event that's taking place in October.
Yes,
and
Life
that's
Builders.
the Life
Treasure
Builders.
Coast is amazing. Diamond Liddy is truly an amazing woman. I mean, an amazing woman. She is married to former Judge Walsh, who's now retired from the bench, who's amazing. And Life Builders really is important for the community. It's so important for the community because it really addresses the offender, who is, to try to rehabilitate the offender and the recidivism rate, and to try to get the person that has, down in his luck, that has been arrested, that to try to get him back to be a productive individual in society. And that's all it's about, is making this person that has done wrong, that has maybe atoned for his sins or whatever, served his time, to now try to get back on his feet and to try to live a full life and a productive life. And Life Builders, we've been doing it for several years, is a great cause. We have an amazing support staff that does that.
Yes.
The sheriffs do that all over. And it's just a great cause, and we have an auction coming up. We're going to be sponsoring that. We have a golf tournament, and it's just a great event that is a lot of fun. A lot of people will be there. A lot of our local judges lend support to that, because a lot of the judges, of course, they see, if they're in the, I don't do family law, so I don't really know. I don't know
Right.
family law. I don't know criminal law.
Right.
I only know circuit civil law. So the judges that are on the criminal bench, they're very instrumental in helping out, because they see, they unfortunately, and it's really a wonderful cause because it gets the, hopefully they're not a career criminal,
Right.
but it gets them back, tries to get them back in a productive way so that they can be in society, working, whether it's clothing on their back, transportation, a job, and it's really a great. I think it's just wonderful what Diamond Liddy has done with the support of the community.
Oh yeah, and they have a tremendous success rate with that
Yes.
program. So that really kind of lends itself to a lot of these people that Lauri was talking about, the judges, the police agencies. They're behind this because they know that it works. And it's coming up October the 9th, which is
Right.
the party.
Right, the party.
Which I like that. The
Party.
party.
I don't golf, so.
Yeah, just before you get to the golf tournament, which is on Saturday the 10th. So 10/10 is the golf tournament, and that's going to be at Legacy Country Club. That's in of course, right there at the PGA.
Yes.
You go at the PGA Boulevard there. And
95, right?
Yeah,
Take 95. We'll have all the information.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We're going to try to have Diamond Liddy. She's super busy managing all of her attorneys and her staff, and with the public defender's office. But we're going to try to see if we can even get Diamond Liddy either to call in to the station, or we will get her in
studio.
In studio.
Oh,
That'd be great. Do that. Absolutely.
That'd be fabulous. Yeah, St. Lucie West.
Great prizes.
and
a lot of auction prizes.
You don't want to miss this event. So, there are limited amounts of tickets, but I'll tell you what, it's well worth going to this event and being involved. There's also an opportunity for you to buy a foursome if you want to buy a foursome of golf and just to enjoy the day. It's a great time and a great golf course, and it's all about helping Life Builders. And they've got a terrific website, lifebuilders.org. Check that out, and it'll give you all the information that you need to know about that.
And it'll be great. You can meet our local elected officials, our local, community leaders. ask a bunch of questions, and it's going to be, a nice food, cocktail, and you can get some great door prizes and things like that. So it's really a great opportunity.
It is. It's a lot of fun, and usually we have a little theme that goes along with it. I remember one night when we had somehow it was the Arabian Nights, and we had belly dancers there. So
wow,
what can I tell you?
My husband will love that.
I'm telling you, Elliot will be ready to go here.
Ready to go.
Well, we're going to take one short break, one more break here on the
Diane, right?
Lauri J. Goldstein Show. Then we've got Diane.
Got to get our real estate report.
Yes, we're going to get our real estate report from Diane Chandler, and she's had a young lady in her family go to college
we
here.
We got to hear all about that.
Oh yeah, so we've all used Kleenex the whole month of August for me giving my last child away as a bride, and the schools for Lauri and for Diane for their kids. Well, let's take that break, and we'll be right back with the Lauri J. Goldstein Show here on WSTU.
Have a legal question? Talk to Lauri for free. 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU.
Well, good morning, and here we are on the Lauri J. Goldstein Show this Tuesday edition. We're here every Tuesday at 10 o'clock, and Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates always there to serve you no matter what day you need help with your injury case. They're there. Lauri, you have an outstanding feature with your cell phone that's always on.
Actually, I got a lot of calls on the weekends, and I do try to tell the the clients that, I am a wife and mother on the weekends. So, unless it's really an emergency, I think Sunday morning at 2:30 in the morning, I got a call. I turn my phone on vibrate.
Yes.
Because I just can't be waking up at 2:30 in the morning.
But it's right there by your side, isn't it, Lauri?
A 50-year-old woman, I just can't. I'm not 20 anymore, 25, so I just can't do it. But it is. I try to answer. I'm on the website. There's a 24-hour cell phone,
yes,
which is the 772-214-6464, and
right,
the general questions. About answering the client's questions about their accident case, their rights under the law. And they have tons of questions about jury trials, about me picking juries, about me going into opening statements, closing statements, trying cases. I've tried cases. I've been in the courtroom. Mediations, I've attended thousands of mediations. So there's a lot of stuff that I do as a lawyer, as a trial attorney, and, there to answer their questions.
And you can call the office. It's real easy. It's the number 2 call.
That's right, all twos.
Yes, 772-222-2222. There you go.
Thank you, Barry.
Diane Chandler is here with us, Tradewin Real Estate. I'm telling you, guys are busy over there.
Everyone's busy.
And what's the hottest property right now for Tradewinds?
The hottest property I'd have to say is 2424 South Shore.
Oh, I like
Gardens.
that. How about that? 2424 South Shore. That's
drive by it. Let me know if you want to make an offer. It's a great property.
Great location, right?
Yeah, mid-century modern, right in the gardens. It's perfect.
It is.
Love
it's
the
nice.
gardens.
And what's your number, Diane, to call?
772-486-1420, direct to my cell phone.
I'm telling you, and she is a joy to work with. So
tell us about that house. What is it? How many bedroom?
3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage with a pool, and a really private tropical community off Prosperity Farms Road between Donald Ross and PJ Boulevard, which is right in the hub of everything. So close to shopping and beaches and great schools and churches, and you can't imagine.
And the Gardens Mall.
Adorable. And the mall.
That'll be sold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. Pretty
It's
good selection there. So it's very, very nice. And I was there just yesterday seeing my little niece.
Oh yeah.
My grandniece who was born in July. So it's been big. It's been It's been a long process.
busy
In
summer.
fact, today she's a month old. She's a month old today.
Congratulations.
Her name is, well, we call her Ellie, and Ellie Brockler is her name, and she's just a joy. She's just a wonderful little girl.
Beautiful. The pictures we saw were beautiful.
Got me wrapped around her finger already. You know.
Yeah.
Uncle Barry, okay, whatever. All right. Lori, listen, we really have to thank you for all that you do for our community, and
you're welcome, Barry.
we just enjoy being here with you on the show. And I'm telling you, if anybody has any kind of a problem as far as injury is concerned, and you'd like to talk to Lori, best number to call is 772-222-2222. It's the Lauri J. Goldstein Show. We're here every Tuesday at 10 o'clock on WSTU. Thank you, Lori.
Thanks, Barry. Thanks, Diane.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Lauri J. Goldstein Show on 1450 WSTU. Brought to you by a law firm of Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates, 1330 Southeast Federal Highway in Stewart. Working hard for the injured and a community partner that cares. Call them at 772-222-2222. The views expressed by Lauri J. Goldstein and her guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of 1450 WSTU. Join Lauri next Tuesday at 10 a.m. for the Lauri J. Goldstein Show on 1450 WSTU.